Now, the U.S. enters day 3 of its partial shutdown, and many views have been put forward on how the country is now viewed. South Africa also has gone through a tough time, and Arabile Gumede caught up with Sir Richard Branson on how the world views our country.
I think that the world looks at South Africa with envy, actually. I think, thanks to, I would say, Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Tutu. I think, the way, they managed to embrace the people who had been their enemies at one stage and unite the country, I think it's an example to everybody in the world as an example of forgiveness, South Africa, is by no means perfect, but then in the last 5 years, most countries in the world have struggled, in an enormous way. When you think that, Portugal has 50% unemployment amongst young people, Spain, I don't know, nearly 50% unemployment amongst young people. So the problems are all over the world, there's obviously work to be done. With Virgin, we're trying to expand in South Africa to create more jobs. We're trying to help through the Branson School of Entrepreneurship train young Africans to become entrepreneurs and create jobs. I think as the recession comes out, hopefully a lot of those people who are out of work will be able to get jobs. But it's a great country, and it needs as much support and love as it can. Yeah, I'm surprised that the rand has gone down, but I think that's just because commodities have gone backwards recently. I think South Africa's, some of our biggest and most successful clubs are in places like Soweto. It's nothing. Things don't happen overnight, but there are more and more people, I think, are coming out of the poverty level in South Africa, we're opening big, successful clubs in the townships, and I think that's an indication that things are, that slowly but surely that more and more people are managing to stand on their own 2 feet.
Richard, again, you've opened over 110 at least Virgin Active clubs in South Africa now. However, you did pull Virgin Active out of Kenya. Is there anywhere on the African continent where you're looking to expand the Virgin Active brand? And is there anything further in terms of investments in Africa that you're looking at?
Yes, Namibia we're open in. We're seriously looking at Kenya, and I'm going to Kenya next month to show support for Kenya. Something that I dislike intensely is, if there's a terrorist attack in America, Brits will fly to America to show support. You don't get travel advisories not to fly to America after 9/11. If there's a terrorist attack in Kenya, suddenly there's, the government are foolish enough to put travel advisories up, and it does enormous damage to a country like Kenya. And terrorists can strike anywhere. So I think it's very important that that we show solidarity with countries that have terrorist attacks. That people like myself travel to those countries and show, and meet the presidents, and as importantly, that companies like Virgin Active just get in there and set up businesses there. So we're looking at a number of other African countries to expand Virgin Active in. I would quite like it to be Kenya first, just to show solidarity after what's just happened there.
What does the U.S. shutdown mean for you? And what are your thoughts or perceptions of it?
I think it's disgraceful. I try not to get involved in party politics, but on this occasion, President Obama has come up with a scheme which is not that dissimilar to Britain's scheme, which gives the 50 million people who couldn't afford health care coverage, and those 50 million people if they're ill, or if their relatives are ill, they're going to be helped, and they're not going to be turned away by hospitals. And for the Tea Party to try to take that away from those 50 million people, I think is wrong. So and to shut America down is palpably wrong. So I think they're making fools of themselves, and in the long term that may be beneficial, I think, to the world and America. I think that blackmail of that kind generally backfires on people.